Americans, I'm going to show you how ridiculous and out of control house prices are in the UK. Have a look at this. So these houses here, that's not one house. They're like two houses joined together, okay?
Semi-detached.
Or they're all pretty much the same down this street. Can you guess how much these houses are? Have a look. So you see this one for sale here? That's not that whole building, that's half. Can you see how it splits down there in the middle? Guess how much that is for sale?
What you guys
That house is up for £650,000. It's 3 bedrooms and it is small, okay? That price is ridiculous. I want to know your opinion. Do you think that's expensive for what it is? Because in my opinion, that's outrageously expensive for what you get. Like, the house is so tiny and it's £650,000, nearly $900,000. Crazy. For example, when we were cruising around the El Dorado Hills close to Sacramento, we were told how much those houses were up for sale for, and we were like, what? That's so cheap. Like $1.5 million for that house, like a mansion, like a really beautiful villa. That's so cheap compared to UK prices. So count yourselves lucky, guys. Not all houses are the same in the UK. Like, I will show you some more houses, some bigger houses, some lovely cottages. House prices aren't the same in the whole of the UK. They tend to be cheaper up north compared to south. Like, this is quite an expensive area, but still, it's very expensive, like outrageously expensive.
I think a good point to share off the back of this is what materials are being used, and that it's not a major point, but it's an important point. So for example, every single one of the properties that were just shown in the UK are brick built properties. Why? Because the overarching the majority of properties in the UK are built with brick. Okay, now in America, most of the properties are built using stud or woodwork, right? So the materials make a difference. And as a result, obviously, typically you'll find the raw resources cost more to make properties in the UK, nowhere near as much as they sell for, especially down south, but the resources cost more in the UK than they do in America. Now, that's just a side point, which I think is important. The real point I think is really important here is when someone says, properties for $1 million in America are cheap because of all of this you get, right? And I think sometimes what we forget is where we're at, okay? Is the UK more expensive than America to buy property, to buy houses and all of this stuff? It depends. It depends. It depends on where you're buying. It depends on what you're buying. But the reality is, the real thing that I think is super vital here is, what do you desire? Because if you desire to live in the United States of America, then, as she said, you might be in a better position, especially if you first lived in the UK, because you can see from the UK what things cost here and then compare that. But equally, it's the same. If you desire to live in the UK, it might be better for you to have first lived in the US of A. Why? Because then you get an advantage on what things cost over in the US of A. The reality is, you have to make the decision on what you desire, and as a result, go get what you require. And the key to all of this is property prices are going to do what property prices do, wherever you are in the world. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in the UK, whether you're in the US of A, whether you're in Australasia, whether you're in Asia, whether you're in Mother Africa, whether you're in one of the Koreans, whether you're in the Caribbean, it doesn't make a difference. Property prices are always going to do what they do. And they are going to be up at times. They're going to be down at times. They're never going to go as far down as people are waiting for. And sometimes they're never going to go as high up as people are expecting, okay? But the reality is, they are property prices. They are the currency in which a nation, most of the time, actually holds the overwhelming majority of its wealth. So if you live in any nation, whether it's the United States of America, whether it's the UK, you are often in a place where the majority of that nation's wealth is stored in bricks or inside of the property, okay? In the form of equity, in the form of livelihood, etc., etc. So the real question is, are properties adequately priced? I think this is what's really being asked in this video. Like, are properties adequately priced in the UK? You get so little house for so much money. Is that normal? Does that make sense? Well, the reality is, it's going to make sense until the communities, the people, do something about it. And when you say do something about it, Samuel, what do you mean? Well, what I mean is people move. Like, this lady, for example, is talking about how she believes it's astronomically high, and as a result, you get so little house for so much money, right? So if that be the case, what does a person do? Well, if a person wants to do something about it, they move somewhere else. They might move up north where houses are cheaper. They might move somewhere else in the south where houses are cheaper. They might move to another country where for the same money they get more. Okay, they can make that decision in and of themselves to make any of those movements. But the reality is, until there's some form of a mass exodus, all right, i.e., an overwhelming majority of people say, hey, we need change, okay, so we're going to do something about it, or we're going to, ultimately we're going to do something about it, whether that be leave, whether that be stay, whether that be lobby, whatever, right? Nothing's going to change, because nothing changes until we change. So this is something we have to kind of come to terms with. We have to get to grips with. We have to start understanding that just saying our opinion is just saying our opinion. Just saying, oh, I think is just saying I think. But actually doing the work to make a change is doing the work to make a change. And it's slightly different to just saying our opinion. So I can have the opinion that property prices in America, you get way more for the same dollar or pound that you'd spend here in the UK. Or I could actually say, well, hold on a minute, because I really believe this, I'm going to go do something about it. Okay, I'm going to go buy a house in America, or I'm going to buy a house which is dilapidated in the UK and fix it up, right? Which many people do. Okay, fix it up to live in it, or fix it up to flip it, right? Which many people do. But this is where we have to get to. We have to get to a place where we become action orientated and not just opinion orientated. All right. And I'm not saying this in like specific to the creator. I'm saying it in specific to the community. Like, we need to be people that are taking action, because it's action takers that are the money makers. It's action takers that are going to be in a position to say, I'm buying this house for £660,000 and it's not a problem to me. Right. It's action takers that are going to say, you know what, I'm going to go and take my $80,000 to America rather than spend the £660,000 here, and I'm going to buy something there. It's an action taker that becomes that money maker. They're the people that we're going to look at prolifically and say, wow, you had the proclivity to go and do the thing that needed to be done. And this is my big angst on the internal level with our community, for our community. And that's for us to take action, for us to just do something, right? Do something. Don't just talk about it, be about it. How can we be about it? By taking a simple single step. It doesn't have to be the greatest step. It doesn't have to be the major step. It doesn't have to be the step everyone's telling you to take, but just take a step. Do something instead of do nothing, so your opinions can have some level of substance behind them, because you took action as you also refine them. And as long as you're the kind of person who does that, you refine your opinion and take action, then you're going to be the kind of person who sees the results of that action. I don't know if this is of value to you. If it is, let me know in the comments below. What's your view? Like, do you think that prices in the UK of property are overpriced? Do you think they're oversubstantiated? Do you think that we should not be paying what we're paying for the properties in which we get to be able to play in the UK? I would love to hear your say. Side by side with that, if you got value in this video and something in this video connected with you, you know what to do. Feel free to hit the like, feel free to subscribe, become a part of the tribe, and I look forward to seeing you on another video in the future. As I usually say, please remember, small keys open big doors. Good day, God bless. Let's go.
Small keys open big doors.